What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Down to Earth with me, Kristian Harloff. This is our daily UAP news channel. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, look, there's a lot of stuff, and it seems like a lot of people, when they're putting out news stories in general right now, rightfully so, are still talking about Lou Elizondo, the book, imminent, it is out, and there's other things that are pretty crucial. As I've seen other videos that people have been making of whether it is the fact that how important it is that these, with the hearings coming up, and how important it is with the Disclosure Act, the Schumer rounds, and all those different things, and the setup to what eventually will be disclosure, or what disclosure might exactly look like. Well, one of those things is the actual names, because there's always this, as I have conversations, and I'm sure you have conversations with people. I have a friend of mine who is a skeptic, and he says, okay, well, one of the reasons that I don't believe this could happen is because I don't believe that the government could keep this thing quiet. And the other side of it is, well, if it is not necessarily the government, what you think the government is running at these programs and has this technology and these things, these private companies that are doing it, is what a lot of the people who follow this subject certainly do. And there's always names that are thrown out when talking about this situation. Well, in the book, Lou and Eric Davis, they mention said names, and a Twitter account that I follow, both of them, both Mike Colangelo and the UFO Joe, great source of UAP news, by the way. Highly recommend following them on Twitter. But this was an excerpt that I had seen regarding this topic, and here it is. So from Joe, Eric Davis names the aerospace companies that are involved with the crash retrieval. So this is an excerpt from Imminent with a reply from Eric Davis. Elizondo says, if you accept that the modern era of UAP sightings dates back to 1947, then that means that those who come before us had almost 80 years to obfuscate and literally bury the truth. Senior officials told me continuously and confidentially that big aerospace companies have been part of the legacy program to retrieve and reverse engineer crash materials. The big names included Lockheed Martin, TRW, McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Raytheon, Base Systems, and the Aerospace Corporation, all of which have been principal members of the U.S. military-industrial complex. Now, in the Facebook group where Davis posts, the rules are that you can't post screenshots or quote directly from posts, so I'll paraphrase, summarize. Davis, in response to that excerpt from Imminent, said that back then, prior to 1990, Lockheed Martin, McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman did not exist, and neither Bay, Raytheon, nor Bing were ever involved. The companies that were involved: Lockheed Aircraft Company, Hughes Aircraft Company, Aerospace Corporation, and TRW. Other companies played minor supportive roles. I believe this is the first time that Davis has named names of the alleged guilty parties. He also said in another post that he and Lou remain friends and colleagues. Lots there. I mean, these are actual names, man, that are being dropped. And when you get more and more of these admissions, it's like, I think that this is something that when Lou was on the show, and I can't remember which one it was, but like, do you think it's just a matter of time now? I think it might have been Ross Coulthard who asked him and said, like, you know, oh no, it was like ABC News. I can't remember. It was one. Look, the good news is that there's been so many interviews with him that you forget who was doing it because there's just so many. Well, one of the things that he mentioned was that you can't hide it anymore. They keep trying to, but it is harder and harder to do so. And it seems more and more as these fingers are pointed of this group, they have it. And I think that this is also why, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, why it is so important that this Schumer rounds bill as put in there passes, because there's only so long that you can be protected. However, if it doesn't get passed again, A, I don't know if it'll ever get passed. B, they'll continue to be able to do exactly what they've been doing. But if you are able to, you're actually able to now, regulate these people, then things are going to get very interesting. So it does seem as if the people who said these certain things were coming in tandem, whether it was the Lou Elizondo stuff, the bill, the documentary, the hearings, as I was doing videos and saying, okay, we keep hearing the same thing. When is something actually going to drop? Well, it seems like things are dropping now. Now, is that also going to follow up with the Grush op-ed? Maybe. Maybe there are other things that are coming into play. Right now, Lou Elizondo is the one in the spotlight, and there's tons of conversations. But these names being dropped down, now, these are all names that if you're following the topic, you've heard of before. But this is actually confirmation from Davis, who says that, you know, back prior to 1990, Lockheed Martin, McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman, they didn't exist, and none of those other ones were actually involved. But he said the companies that actually were involved: Lockheed Aircraft Company, Hughes Aircraft Company, Aerospace Corporation, and TRW. Other companies played minor supportive roles. So he didn't say no, nobody was involved. We don't have any ideas. Like, no. All certain names, kind of ish, not really, but I'll tell you who is. That to me is just as good. And maybe he didn't get it right, particular in the in some of the, like, well, when he mentions the big names included Lockheed Martin, TRW in the book, that he, depending on the time period and all that. And remember that there was also a period of time when this book was supposed to come out a lot earlier, but then they had to like look at certain things that were said and the time periods and all these different things. So there's a lot more to it. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about the fact that the names are actually being dropped now, confirmed by other people, not just Lou Elizondo? Now, this one is actually Eric Davis. And there's more people who are coming out, have more. There's that whole stuff that came out with Stratton recently, and there's more people speaking up. Are these people eventually the ones that are leading up to talk about things in front of Congress? Are these going to be some of the people that we're going to see and hear from at the next hearings? Very curious to hear what you guys think. Make sure you put your comments in there. Let us know. I want you to have a great weekend. Thank you once again. I know that I missed the video yesterday. It's been tough. We're running 3 channels right now. Been having a lot of fun doing so with everything. This is, to me, out of the channels that I do, the most important, to have the conversation, to have continuous conversations with people, support everybody that's talking about this, watch as many videos as you can, keep the conversation going, subscribe to as many people as you can. It's important that the community grows. So stay on the same page. Don't fight one another. Keep it going. And thanks for joining me. All right, have a great weekend, guys. See you later. This episode of Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let me ask you, what are your self-care non-negotiables? What is it, that you never skip a leg day or therapy day? Because when your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Because even when we know what makes us happy, it is hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Therapy is very important. I've been in that position, man, when I haven't talked and I've let things bottled up, and it is not a good thing. You got to talk to people. And we've had people on our show that have said, listen, we've needed to speak to people. We had an opportunity to, and BetterHelp has been there for a lot of people very close in my life. Because if you don't know, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it is flexible, and it is suited to your schedule. All you have to do is you fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. You got to visit betterhelp.com/DTE today. You get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DTE. Guys, thanks for watching the show. Really appreciate you being here. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to hear about somebody I love, and that's Factor. Factor, to me, the meals are just delicious. And with sunny days here, fueling up with Factor there's no prep, there's no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus. Factory's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, and they're ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always find time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. I cannot tell you guys, we have been working on this studio. We have been doing stuff, and Brett, who is here, if you don't know Brett is one of the best. He's a producer, and he works on this studio, and he's gotten it looking really, really good. Well, Brett gets hungry. I said, Brett, guess what? I got some good meals for you, and we got Factor. And Brett's been most energy I've seen him running around because he's been eating well with Factor. If 35 meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, and you'll always have new flavors to explore. You got to treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. So if you head to factormeals.com/DTE50, you use that code DTE50, you'll get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code DTE50 at factormeals.com/DTE50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while subscription is active. Get it. You'll thank me for it. I appreciate it.